righty. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining today. So welcome to our Go NAPSACC Quarterly TA Call. We're excited to reconnect with our TA providers and also welcome some new faces into this group. If it is your first time attending, we are so happy to have you here. Actually, I'll first start off by saying, to get started, if you all could please use the chat to put your name, pronouns, if you're comfortable, your title and your organization into the chat. We really appreciate that. To get things started, I'll go ahead and introduce myself for those that are not familiar. My name is Kiera Jones. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a program manager over early care and education and physical activity in the built environment for ISPAN here at Illinois Public Health Institute. And also on the call, I have a couple of my IPHI colleagues, which I'll allow them to introduce themselves before we get started. So I will start with Jasmine, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Natividad. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a Public Health AmeriCorps service member with IPHI. And I will pass it on to Sarah.
Hi everyone, Sarah Flores, she, her pronouns, program director here at IPHI, and I manage the SPAN, the Illinois State Physical Activity and Nutrition Program. ISPAN, that is the program that houses this network and our ECE strategy work. Well,
Thanks, Sarah. And then Javier, are you there?
Yes, I am here. My name is Javier Barrera. I am, my pronouns are he and him. I am an administrative assistant here at IPHI, and I'm supporting people for also taking notes. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And thank you everyone so far that's been introducing yourself in the chat. Please continue to do so if you haven't so already. We just like to get a feel of who's all here for today's session. But moving along, I want to first talk really briefly, give a little overview of our objectives for today's call. So our top three objectives, one is going to be getting new providers here that are not familiar with the network. So we want to make sure all of the TA providers have a solid understanding of Go NAPSACC and how they can utilize this network for support. Two, we really want to gear into group discussion and peer networking. And so, because we really believe that one of the biggest benefits of this group is learning from each other. And today's meeting will include a dedicated time for regional breakout groups, as you'll see here on the agenda. And I'll get into more about that later. And then finally, we really want to pick your brain about future calls and current needs. So, we want to hear from you, any topics, resources that we can help provide, and any support that would be most helpful for you as you're continuing to working with ECE programs. So in general, by the end of today's meeting, our goal is to walk away with new connections, insights, and resources that will help support your work. So before I get started, I do want to just briefly do a few group norms to ensure everyone can be heard and have an inclusive environment. So the first one is take space, make space. Two, be as present as possible. I know it's after lunchtime. You guys have probably had your nice lunch. You're getting a little full, maybe a little tired, but just try to stay as present as possible in this space since we do have such a limited time together. Make sure to ask questions. If anytime you don't know anything, please, there's no question that's too small. You can drop it in the chat, or you can use the raise your hand function to ask a question. And then finally, listen with openness to new ideas and perspectives without judgment. So have quite a few folks on the call and we all have different experiences. So we just want to be respectful of those experiences. And so we just ask you to just be open to any new ideas and perspectives. So with that said, does that sound good all around? Does any other norms need to be added? Or does it sound like we are in good shape to start this conversation? And if you disagree otherwise, just or feel different, just you can drop something in the chat or Oh, I see thumbs up. Thank you, Tamara. All right. So with that said, we're going to go right into this meeting. So first, we're going to just start off with a brief overview of Go NAPSACC. I think it's important to not only for the people that are new, but also for the people that are used to this group to always just level set about what the Go NAPSACC TA network is and what our goal is. So the first thing is, so Go NAPSACC, what is it? So the Go NAPSACC TA network is a community of over 117 TA providers across the state that is dedicated to peer learning and resource sharing. So TA providers play a key role in helping programs navigate the platform, complete self-assessments, and also implement action plans. So generally, the goal of Go NAPSACC is really to support the TA providers and working with ECE programs, and also using Go NAPSACC tools to assess and improve nutrition, physical activity, and really just overall wellness in childcare settings. And then finally, how we meet quarterly. This is the first call of the year. Our next call will be in June, and then our last call of the year will be in September. And I will have those dates officially for you at the end of this meeting, and I'll also share that with you in a follow-up email. Any questions regarding of what the Go NAPSACC TA network is or anything related to that? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the big meat and potatoes of this conversation, which is going to be our group discussion. So, really, this is the big thing where I really wanted to focus on this call is our peer networking. So what we're going to be doing for the next basically 40 minutes is we're going to move into regional breakout groups to help connect you with peers in your area. And this is an opportunity for you all to share experiences, discuss challenges, and really just to learn from one another. So as you'll see here on the map and have the instructions, you're going to self-select a breakout room that most closely aligns with your region. So as you'll see here related to the key here on the map, if you're here in this northern section, you'll go into the northern room. On this side, eastern, you got central, western, and then southern. So hopefully you guys can all see that. And if for some reason you get into a room, because it may happen, and you're the only person in that region, please feel free to come back to the main room and we can get you sorted into another room that has people so we can actually have a meaningful discussion because we don't want you in there by yourself. So each group will have a set of guiding questions to facilitate discussion, which I'll be sharing here in the next slide. And we also ask that you please select one person in your group to take notes and just report back to the group afterwards of the discussion. So it'll probably have about 3 to 4 minutes per group coming back. So won't be super heavy of a lift, but just really want to gain those key questions and responses so we can share with the group and ask for the questions. These are the questions that we will be going over or be done in the great breakout rooms. Jasmine's going to also drop these in the chat. So if you can, if you want to take a picture of them or copy and paste it into a different document to make it easier for you to follow along as you're in the breakout rooms, please do so. As you'll see, very general questions. One, what is your current role and how do you engage with ECE programs in your region? We asked you to share any experiences there. On a scale of 1 to 5, how confident do you feel using the Go NAPSACC? How confident do you feel about using Go NAPSACC? And then 3, how do you currently promote Go NAPSACC to ECE providers? Then we have some questions about retention of programs. And then finally, what would make it easier for you to support ECE programs with Go NAPSACC? So again, we'll have 40 minutes to go through this discussion. I will stay in the main room to make sure that you all are where you need to be. My colleague Sarah will be jumping around to room to help offer any support or to move any conversation to make sure everything's going well. And then I will send a reminder to the group when it's 5 minutes left of your time, and then also when it's 1 minute left of your time as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to launch these breakout rooms for you. And please make sure to go in and assign yourself to whichever room or region aligns best with you. And if you have any questions about getting into the room, or if you would like for me to self-assign you or assign yourself, then I can do that. So let me just make sure. Has the room launched for everyone? No? Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, let me try this again. Is it launched now? Okay. All right. So if anybody's having any trouble going to the room, please let me know.
I don't see it.
You don't see it? Okay. Let
I
me
don't either.
what region are you in? Tamara?
I'd be in Northern.
Northern? Okay. I will go ahead and I'll sign you there. 1 second.
I also
Tamara?
don't have it, and I'm in Northern.
Okay.
Okay. And who is that? I'm so sorry.
Lee
Okay.
Kuski.
They may have to click on their three buttons by the three little dots by more, Kiera.
Oh, okay. Yes.
On our side. I know it looks different on your side.
Okay.
Or it says join breakout room at the bottom, and then you have to click on.
Yeah. Click on them.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody finding that, or okay. Oh, Tamara, I see you're back. Were you able to?
I went in and then it put me back to here.
Oh, okay. I'll put you back in there. 1 second. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. I know technology is weird.
All right. All right. We put you back in Northern. Huh. What is that saying? Okay. It looks like it's in there. Let me. Question, Tamara, when you go to join breakout rooms, the option, is there like a 3 dots next to it?
What it said was, it cut off and it just said join like N, which I figured the rest of it was Northern. So I joined and
Mhm.
then it was filtering, let me in, and then it filtered me out.
Oh, okay. All right, let me redo this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I get it.
Okay, I'm gonna close this out and go back in here. Because it has it. Right now it's when I pull up to move to, it's giving me the option for Southern, Central, Eastern, and Western, and I can't for some reason get Northern on there. Huh. I wonder if I can. Let me try to do this a different way.
Unless you do it how you did it the last time and maybe
Mhm.
maybe I'll be able to see the 3 dots.
Yeah.
And then I click on those and okay.
Yeah.
We could try it again
Try it that
and-
way. Okay. Let's try
and
it
then
again.
see see if it shows me those 3 dots.
Okay. For some reason, it's not letting me do. Hey, Jasmine. Are you still there? Can
Yeah.
you see on your end if you're able to assign Tamara to the Northern room? Because for some reason, mine, it's only giving me options to do Southern, Central, and Eastern and Western. And
Okay.
that's because I had already assigned her as Northern. So I just want to okay. See if it'll do it this time. Anything on your end, Tamara?
I'm still here with you
Yes.
guys.
Okay. So nothing's popped up though on your end though?
No.
Okay. Huh, that is so strange. Let me And did you already assign it on your end, Jasmine?
I'm actually not sure how
Oh.
to do that. I'm looking
Yeah,
to
and
see.
I'm hoping I get to talk with my northern folks because
Yeah.
like an independent consultant working out of INCRA, and I don't
Mm.
really know what's happening with us because I haven't heard from anyone
Maybe,
about civics.
can you try to click on join breakout room again? I wonder if like you just try again. You have an awesome turnout up there, so I'm sure you want to join.
Yeah. Oh, there. Okay, let me try that again. I will. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I got it now. Thank you.
Got it.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Sorry, Kira, I joined late.
No, you're fine, Caitlin.
Want me to hop in anywhere, or how can I be of support? I don't really know if I'm that helpful hopping in a specific place, or I guess how are
Um,
things going?
Let me see. Right now we have 11 in Northern, 8 in Southern, 6
We
in,
have a really good turnout.
yeah, and 4 in Eastern. Okay, no Western, but that's all right.
That's
All
okay.
the other ones are pretty full. If you want, yeah, you can just, if you want to hop in like room to room to see, they all have their questions, that we gave them. We posted in the chat, which I don't know if you have them. If not, I can just
I have them here in
see.
the chat. Yep.
Okay. So if you want, you can just, if you want to just listen in to any of the rooms to see how the conversation's going, um, then yeah, otherwise we should be pretty good. I'll just keep time here in the main room and then I'll broadcast whenever we're getting to be 5 minutes and then 1 minute.
And then they'll share out.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Is
Yeah,
there
we'll share.
anything else like you need support from us in the meantime? Like, have you heard of anything or?
Uh,
Oh,
no,
well.
not yet. No, everything seems
Okay,
we just kind of went through straight in the overview and then straight into this, so we should be
okay,
good.
okay. That sounds good. I didn't know if there's extra things I can help out with. I can hop in somewhere. Let's see. Is that what Sarah's doing too?
Yeah, Sarah's hopping around too.
All right. I feel like. Oh, I muted myself. I'll go somewhere Sarah's not at.
Okay.
And then Lynette looks like she's hopping around places too.
Okay.
Because I assume she's not a TA provider.
No, she's just just
Let's
like
dig in.
yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, thanks everyone. So welcome back. So obviously I did close the room just a little bit early because it sounded like everybody was moving through pretty efficiently. So hope everybody was able to have a good, robust conversation. So now that we are all back, I would love to go around and hear just a brief, like I said, 3 to 4 minute summary from each of the groups, to share about what you heard in your conversation. So, as I mentioned previously, everyone should have designated one person to be the speaker and take notes. So, with that said, whoever's group wants to go first, feel free.
I can go first with North if you want.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, Lee.
Oh, sorry, I turned my video back on too. Okay, so in the North, some of the ways that we're currently using it is one of the members is in a council for birth to 5 years old. We also have some people working with the Better Together with Head Starts. And as far as comfort level, our group ranged from 1.5 up to 4. And a lot of it just seemed to be maybe getting more of a comfort level of building the connections and getting people to, continue go through the program and stuff. One of the members had a great idea that she teams up with her nutrition educators. So when they're working with the students, she can actually work with the teacher to kind of help them walk through the process of the Go NAPSACC. And then tying Better Together in came up a lot. And for the support, our group thought that if you have like live examples of like how this worked start to finish, to kind of like lay out a roadmap of you know, what language was used, what resources were used, you know, were there buzzwords that kind of caught people's attention. And then we also thought about possibly doing a flyer of like the benefits of Go NAPSACC and how it's going to help. I mean, yes, it's one thing you have to do, but then you're going to gain all these benefits. And then also possibly something marketing the fact that you can do just a small piece of NAPSACC. You don't have to do the whole thing at once, just pushing that more with the providers. So that's a short summary of what the North came up with.
Fantastic. No, I think that's great. And then can you remind me, you said on one of the options of how they're currently promoting Go NAPSACC. Can you remind me one more time what that was again? About you said somebody had a way that they were currently promoting. I think you said it was with their nutrition.
Yeah, this wasn't my idea. It was one of my groups. If they want to jump
Oh.
in, they can probably do a better idea. But it
Mhm.
was with their nutrition educators go out and work with the children, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
they take that time to work with the teachers.
Oh, fantastic.
And if I misunderstood that, whoever it was, correct me because I don't want to. Yeah.
I don't hear anybody correcting you, so it sounds like you got it summarized pretty well. That's fantastic. No, I love to hear that. Um, awesome. Well, anybody want to go next after that and share? Thanks, Northern Region. All right, might have to volunteer. Oh,
I'll jump in from the South. We really struggled with our conversation because we had several staff that are very new to Go NAPSACC and just getting their feet wet. So they said, let's ask all these questions again in a month or two when they get a little bit more experience under their belt.
mhm,
But with first steps, I think even with the Better Together, the time commitment keeps coming up. And even with time commitment for just Go NAPSACC, if we can find a really good way to get through that initial time commitment, we can still really see some benefits to programs that will kind of jump in and leap in. I think one thing that has been somewhat helpful is with trainings that have been done in regards to any topics in nutrition and physical activity, if we can add some additional couple of slides or speaking points to of Go NAPSACC into at the end of those trainings to again just keep saying Go NAPSACC with
mhm,
our ECE providers and partners. Just keep saying it every time they see us. So they know it's not going away and that we're really passionate about it.
mhm,
Also, I know for us, the assessment piece is very, very important. But if we could sell them on the resources that are available, those vetted resources that Go NAPSACC has in every module, and get them utilizing some of those resources, I think it could be helpful. Um, and getting them to identify some ways that they could get involved with Go NAPSACC that maybe is a less of a time commitment or a less resource commitment, and get them excited about it in that way before moving them forward. Um, there was conversation about virtual versus in-person training, and virtual still sometimes being the preferred method, but also engagement goes down in during those virtual opportunities. So not sure what the happy medium is there. And then just I'm always going to plug that if there was an opportunity for TA consultants to have right access to the assessments for centers, I think it could really help with engagement by doing interviews and observation to complete the assessment tool and not relying on the centers to be overwhelmed with that assessment process. I think there could be a lot of momentum shift if we had that opportunity. And anybody else from the South that wants to jump in, and please do.
So I'm hearing from both regions so far that time seems to be a time commitment, I should say, seems to be a common theme. And I'm, going back to what Lee had said, maybe one of the things we could kind of point out is that they're not having to go through, all of the different what do you call it? Trainings or different sections in there, and that they can be more selective with the time, what they put towards into that. So, okay, this is very helpful to hear. Let me see who's Central. My Central want to go next?
So we kind of got sidetracked a little bit. We didn't quite follow the questions directly. But we we had a lot of conversation about how it's been a struggle to get providers interested in doing Go NAPSACC. And a lot of that did have to do with the time constraints to go with that. And I guess trying to figure out a way to incentivize them to want to join Go NAPSACC, or even the Better Together collaborative that we've been trying to push. Let's see, what of this have we talked about? So most of the people in our group were worked with SNAP-Ed. I think I was the only one with the CCR&R. But yeah, it seems like the time restraints were the biggest issue that we were seeing, and then that the programs weren't really seeing the benefits of joining. They're like, okay, yes, I can see that the benefits of, okay, this would make us healthier, but we're not going to get anything that's going to give us a monetary stipend or an incentive that way. They're not getting anything that's going to put a new certificate on their wall that's going to make people want to go to them more. So I think that's where people have been kind of struggling with that. Does anybody else want to speak from our group?
I can just probably chime in here. Brooke, you talked about how you were more successful with the family shelter home providers and you were giving them more incentives like veggie puzzles and all those things. Would you want to mention that?
Yeah, sure. So I've got my Better Together collaborative up and going. We had our first meeting last week. I've got 5 programs doing this. I knew it was going to be difficult to get these centers involved right now, just because it is very time consuming, and a lot of centers, the directors and stuff, they don't want to put forth that time. So I focused on the family childcare. And during my PALS training, I kind of just plugged the Better Together collaborative, and I got 3 of my programs for that. And I kind of showed them that we have some incentives that we were going to bring to them. All 5 people that are in the collaborative, they get to take home a Melissa and Doug food sorting thing, a felt food pyramid, some fruits and veggies puzzles and stuff like that. But on top of that, I also let them know of the monetary stipend that one program is going to get at the end of the fiscal year that has completed the Better Together collaborative. So that was a little bit of an incentive there as well. But they're also just really excited that this isn't like a typical training where you're given the information and then just told to go and figure it out, go take this information and do what you're going to do with it. With the Better Together collaborative and with Go NAPSACC in general, if you're working with a TA, there's somebody there to hold you accountable, somebody that's going to make sure that you're doing each process and each step, and there's somebody there to help you along the way, and they're going to make sure that you're making the improvements that you're wanting to make. And I think that a lot of the programs were just really happy about that.
Awesome. And that's fantastic. And it's really insightful to hear that from that point of view, from the CCR&R, and what you're already starting to do with that, getting that up and running. So thank you so much for sharing that, Brooke. I appreciate everything that you've and everybody that's expressed so far. And I think we have one last region because I can't remember. I think it was Eastern, because I don't think we had a Western group. Or I might have flip-flopped that. Do we have an Eastern group?
I don't think there's the Eastern one because I am Champaign and I do Champaign Vermilion and we border the Indiana border, so I don't think there would be a Eastern group.
Okay, so I think it would have been the Western group then. My apologies. I knew it was one that didn't have one for. Am I missing it? I feel like I'm missing a group. At Northern, Southern, and
Southern.
What was that, Simon?
I just wanted to say it was Southern, right?
Yeah, I thought we had Northern, Southern, and Central. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Where does Champaign County fall?
Central.
Central.
Okay, then that was Central?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So where did you go, Kathy?
Yeah.
Well, I was in the Champaign County Iroquois Vermilion group.
Were you Kathleen, were you the one, you were in the group with your 3 colleagues or 2 colleagues?
Yes.
Okay, I think you were in the
Eastern.
Eastern. I think
Yeah,
that's what it was.
'cause
Yeah.
I moved
Oh.
to Central. County.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
it wasn't Central, Douglas and Pyatt, or Macon and Pyatt.
Yeah,
That
Pyatt.
probably would have been, yeah, that probably would have been the group.
Okay, well, for Champaign County, I'll just tell you now, we didn't talk about much because we haven't done it, and the only 4 people in the group were all colleagues. So there's really nothing to report out.
Okay. Gotcha. So it sounds like might have to check back in maybe like a month or so on some of those questions that we have. But thanks y'all, appreciate for y'all meeting, and sorry for any confusion on there on which room was which. But no, this is really helpful, you all. I'm hearing a lot of great common themes, and when it comes to some of the challenges and but also some good opportunities across the regions as well. So we will be taking these insights into account as we plan future meetings and support different strategies as well. Before we move forward, does anybody on my team have any questions, Sarah, Jasmine, to anything that was stated so far? All right. Well, hearing none, thank you all so much for that engagement in that conversation. So I'm just going to wrap things up with just a couple things. So first thing, I want to share a couple of upcoming resources and opportunities. So as I kind of mentioned before, in the future, we're really looking for more engagement of like peer-led discussion for future calls. And what that kind of means is we're looking for volunteers that would like to share success stories, any interesting reports, key takeaways from their work for future calls. So if you are interested in doing that and in being one of the kind of peer-led people for a discussion in the future, please feel free to get in touch with me. You can either drop your email in the chat or after this call, if you want to send me an email directly to say that you're interested, please do so. I believe Jasmine's going to drop my email in the chat. But we would love to, take that in consideration moving forward so we can plan ahead for some more peer-led discussion in our future calls. And then I want to just uplift some upcoming webinars. So for those that are either brand new to Go NAPSACC, or if you have anybody that needs a refresher on Go NAPSACC, we do have monthly new consultant trainings. And in April, we have them coming up on April the 7th and the 21st from 2 to 3 p.m. Central Time. And again, those are just open to those that are new to Go NAPSACC or need a refresher into it. And then we have our consultant office hours, which will take place on April 23rd from 12 to 1. And office hours, for those that aren't familiar, they are basically times that Go NAPSACC consultants from across the country can gather together and share resources, find solutions to common challenges, and just basically support each other's TA efforts. So each office hour session will be facilitated by a Gold NAPSACC implementation advisor, so who's there to answer any questions. So for those different trainings, I believe Jasmine's going to drop in those Zoom registration links in the chat. So if anybody is interested in attending one, you can use the registration link in the chat. And I also will make sure in the follow-up email after this call that I will provide all of these dates and times and registration links. So if you don't want to don't have the time to take it down now, I'll get it to you right after this call with all the things that you need to sign up for that. All right, and then finally, so one of the big discussions that we're going to be dedicating time to in future Go NAPSACC calls is going to be to farm to ECE initiatives. So with that, to prepare for that future call, we want to ask you all a few questions. So I have a Menti that I'm going to bring up on the screen here. Give me just 1 second. Bring this up here. Share my screen. Okie dokie. All right, so you'll see there's a Mentimeter on the screen. Hopefully you all can see that. You can either scan, if you're on your phone, you can or on your computer, you can scan the QR code and go through it on your phone. Or Jasmine's going to drop in the chat the Mentimeter website link, and you just enter that code that you see here into there. So I'm going to give you all a moment, and then as you start coming on, you can just hit the little thumbs up arrow to show that you have made it in. And please let me know, you guys can see my screen, is that right? Okay, thank you. I see a head nod there. Thanks, Lynette. All right. So I'm gonna give y'all just a moment. Is anybody having any difficulty accessing the Menti? Just curious. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and get things started here. So again, these are just a few questions that we wanted to ask you all to help guide our conversation for the Farm to ECE call in the future. So the first question is just very simple. How familiar are you with the Go NAPSACC Farm to ECE module? On a scale from 0 to 5, 0 meaning not familiar at all, 5 meaning very familiar and confident. Okay. All right. Seeing a majority saying that they've heard of it but have never used it. Some that are slightly familiar or somewhat, and a couple that are not familiar at all. Okay. And nobody's feeling super confident about it. That's all right though. Just want to get an idea. Okay. So moving along. Now, if you answered if you answered 1 to 5 on that last question, you can answer this one. If you answered 0, you don't have to worry about answering this one. But so what aspects of the Go NAPSACC Farm to ECE module have you found to be the most useful so far? And you can just put a very short response here. You know, it could be, anything as far as like how the how they have it laid out, how like a certain section to come across. I have not used it. Thank you. I haven't used it before. The tip pages, nice. And if you haven't used it, you don't have to answer this one. These are mostly if you just answered 1 through 5 for the last question. Tips. Okay. Do you have, not sure, but have providers asking if we'll do a Better Together module with it. Very nice. Okay. So looking like, okay, majority is looking like they haven't used it yet. Maybe they've heard of it, but just haven't used it yet. But the couple folks have said that the tip pages have seemed to be helpful. Awesome. That's good to know. All right. And then for those, again, who have used the Go NAPSACC module so far, have there any aspects that you have found to be most challenging? Again, if you have not used it, you don't have to answer this one. But if you have used the Farm to EC module, what have you found to be the most challenging? Give it another moment just in case anybody's adding to. Okay. Looking like that majority of folks, and from what it seems like, probably haven't had access to the module or haven't used it so far, so they're not sure yet about what they found the most challenging, which is okay. Just it's helpful to know where we are just as a level point to start off, to level set. All right. So this question, obviously everybody can answer. So what format are you most likely to attend if we were to offer a training on the Farm to EC module? Virtual workshop, live workshop, a site visit, any live peer learning session, a virtual peer learning session, or other. And if you do select other, please put in the chat what your suggestion would be. Okay, I'm seeing a majority of virtual workshop. One person saying site visit would be helpful. One virtual peer learning session. Very nice. Okay. Another one for the, oh, okay. Move it up for the virtual peer learning session. All right. Okay. All right. So it's looking like majority is leaning towards the virtual workshop format. So thank you for sharing that. And then finally, this is kind of like, you know, you can answer in your own like free time, or if you want to send a message to me later. But if you know anybody right now that is succeeding at Farm to ECE, we would love to know that. So if you could provide your email either on here in the Menti or in the chat, or if you feel more comfortable just to reaching out to me one-on-one, I will put my email in the chat towards the end so you can reach out to me. So just something to keep in mind. If you know somebody right now that you feel like is succeeding at Farm to ECE, please feel free to reach out to me or drop your email in the chat and I will follow up with you on that. So you don't have to put any responses on here. Just wanted to uplift that. So if you do have anybody, you know, please let me know. All right. All right. And then that is the end of the Menti. Thanks so much for your participation. And now we are going to just wrap things up. Share my screen one last time here with y'all. And appreciate all your patience as we are moving back and forth between different aspects here and platforms. All right. To wrap things up before I close things out, again, one, I just want to thank you all for your time and all of your valuable contributions today. These calls are really successful because of your engagement. So I just thank you for your time and appreciate everything that you guys do to support early childhood programs. So with that said, our next quarterly calls are coming up and are set. So our next call will be on June 30th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. And then our last call will be of the year will be on September 29th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. So please make sure to just mark holds on your calendars for these dates. You will be receiving a calendar invitation as we get closer to that call date. So do want to just make you aware because I know things fill up pretty quickly. So that's why I wanted to put that on there. I know vacations are coming up and things like that. So, you know, please feel free to put a hold on your calendar for that. All right. And with that being said, again, thank you so much. We look forward to speaking with you all and working together to help strengthen our TA network. And we will be in touch soon. Again, I will be sending a follow-up email to you all after this meeting and giving you all the different resources that you need. And then here's my email on the screen if you all would like to reach out to me at any point to ask any questions. So thank y'all so much for your time. I'm going to give you a few minutes left back to your day. So don't use it all at once. And I hope you have a great, restful rest of your Monday. Thanks, y'all.